This is the Moka Pot, and this is probably my favourite way of brewing coffee in the morning. It's traditional, it's fun, and the way it works, we're forcing the hot water up, it's just great. It's such a great way of making coffee, and I love it. However, it is easier to mess up than saying Worcestershire sauce correctly for the first time.
Alright, it's Worcestershire.
That spluttering you see right there, that is your coffee getting ruined. Therefore, I am going to show you how to brew from bean to cup the best Moka Pot coffee you can. The first stage is we want to fill this with hot boiling water. We're going to boil some water, leave it cool down for a few seconds, then we're going to pour it in here. Now we want to use freshly boiled water because one, it's going to make the brew quicker, and two, it will put hot water through the coffee first. And you can see we've got this little valve. We're going to fill up to just below this valve. For the coffee, you're going to want to brew a fresh whole bean coffee. If you have to use pre-ground, then please try and get one which is designed for a Moka Pot. If not, and then somewhere between an espresso and a filter grind is what we are going to look for. The coffee I'm using today is this one. This is from a company called Buxton Coffee Roasters. Now, this isn't sponsored in any way. I just really like them. They're quite local and they do great tasting coffee. So I'm going to be using their El Salvador coffee today. Now, this is the basket which will sit inside this chamber. Now, I know from experience that this basket is going to take about 25 grams of coffee to fill. You might have to change a little bit depending on how dark your roast is or what the type of coffee you're using. But the idea is you want the basket to be full, and we're going to distribute it evenly across the basket. And if you've got one of these espresso needles, it's a great way of just breaking up any clumps. If you want at this stage, you can stick maybe like an AeroPress filter onto the lid here. I don't bother with filter papers. I don't really think it does a great deal. If you are using a finer grind coffee dough, you might want to add that filter paper just to stop the little coffee grounds getting through and into your brew. And you will see sometimes people will like pre-infuse the coffee with a bit of hot water first. You don't need to do that. I don't really feel like it adds anything to it. So we're going to skip that stage as well. We're going to assemble the coffee pot now and we're going to get ready to start brewing. Now we are ready to brew. Now I am using a gas stove, which makes this a lot easier. If you are using electric, and then you might just have to adjust your technique a little bit. But what we want to do, we want to slowly heat up this lower chamber with a nice even flame, because we want to make sure that that coffee comes through at a nice even rate. Now your pot is on the hob, you're going to open the lid and we're going to keep an eye on it. They say a watch pot never boils. Well, I'll tell you, this will boil, and you'll want to know when it is boiling. You want to know when it's coming through. Once the coffee starts coming through the chimney, we're going to turn the heat right down. We want to maintain a nice, even flow of coffee coming through the chimney. We don't want an espresso fountain. If that water starts to come up through here too quickly, what it's going to do is going to just go straight through your coffee. It's not going to give you an even extraction, and it's going to give you a foul tasting coffee. If you are using electric, maybe you kind of just pull it to one side or lift it up off the hob just to reduce that temperature quickly. Now, as soon as we start to see that spluttering, we want to take it straight off the heat. Now, be careful, this is going to be hotter than that holiday romance you had in Spain when you were 18.
It's all right, boys. Kitty don't bite. Not now she's been fed. Hey, lover?
You know what I mean. So we're going to plunge this either straight into some cold water or run it under the tap, whichever way is best for you. Give the coffee a stir and then pour this into some cups. Now, it's up to you. This coffee is going to be super strong. Now, if you like a really strong brew, great. If not, just add a little bit of hot water from the kettle and make like a mocha kind of Americano. Or you could use this as a base for a really good milky drink. And that is the best way to brew a Moka Pot coffee. Get it right every single time. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit subscribe. I'm trying to grow this coffee channel, and it'd be great if you can come along and support us whilst we explore the world of coffee. And if you've got any suggestions on how to make this better, and then drop a comment below and we'll see what there is. Enjoy your brew and we'll see you next time.